I really didn't play that many of the AAA critically acclaimed hits this year. I haven't played Control, the new Star Wars game, I'm too scared to beat Resident Evil, I have no interest in Fire Emblem Three Houses or Gears of War 5, The Outer Worlds, DMC 5, Rage 2, Bloodstained, Astral Chain, and even Just Dance 2020 all sit on my yet-to-touch list. Because I haven't played so many of the games that would mayhaps be on my top 10 list, I think I should save both of our time and cut the list in half. But before that... Gato Roboto is one of the most satisfying Metroidvanias I've ever played. King of Cards is yet another great expansion to the original Shovel Knight and is possibly the most difficult version of the game yet. Pokemon is Pokemon, I guess. Probably the worst Pokemon, but Pokemon nonetheless. Yoshi's Crafted World is a platformer, so I like it. Let me just give Cadence of Hyrule 10 seconds to do its thing. Mario Maker 2 gives me the tools to make more incredible levels than the original and more unique graphical styles with more unique themes, but it feels less magical somehow. Maybe it's because it doesn't have the gamepad to create a seamless experience. Maybe because the 3D World theme has far less possibilities than the others. Or maybe just because it's a sequel. Ugh, Kingdom Hearts 3. It's just as much of a writing disaster as every other game in the series, but it really didn't have the gameplay to back up its nonsensical, annoying, brain-dead plot. But, Toy Story World, Monster Zeke World, I rest my case. I wish I had given Disco Elysium more of my time. It would have definitely made the list. It may have even topped it. As it stands, I don't think I've ripped enough red meat off this dripping steak to truly appreciate it. Iceborne is such a fat-ass, thick-ass expansion that it's closer to a new game than DLC. If this was a top 10, it'd be on there. Finally, if you want a complicated story, gameplay that is monotonous yet rewarding, and characters so wacky that they're unbelievable, don't play Death Stranding. Play the Ace Attorney trilogy. It might be cheating a little, but fuck you. It came out this year, kinda, technically.
Number 5, my friend Pedro.
I feel like every time a game's entire claim to fame is that it's gory and the player's entire objective is to dismember, destroy, or just flat out kill every living thing in front of them, that game ends up being pretty fucking dope. My friend Pedro takes that simple concept and slaps a high score meter onto it. The more gore created and the more effective a manner, the more points earned. And the term effective in My Friend Pedro defines means that I've never seen in any other game of its ilk, if there even are any. Frying pan? Better used for reflecting bullets than reflipping omelets. Skateboard? Good for riding, great for beheading. In fact, heads may as well be made out of fucking paper mache when this guy's around. He fucking kicks them in like Lindor chocolate balls. And Pedro's ludicrosity is organized into an intuitive control scheme, while also being open enough to experiment with. Not only can you mix and match weapons, but you can switch them on the fly, breaking any limit that could be put on your power. You can dodge to sacrifice aim for invulnerability. You can wall kick to quickly turn while airborne. You can slow down time. You can behead a guy by kicking another guy's head into that original guy. I'm not sure what the fuck the banana has to do with anything, but it's there and it's fucking great. It's approachable, it's fun, it's catchy, it's addicting. It's number 5 of my top 5 games of the year of 2019.
Number 4, Link's Awakening.
Despite its age, the original Link's Awakening is a unique masterpiece. It's creepy for all the right reasons, with a simple yet pungent story told minimally. The gameplay is satisfying, if a little clunky. Exploring the landscape is rewarding, fighting baddies is simple, and dungeon crawling is addictingly varied. Really, the only thing that needs updating are the game's visuals. Nintendo got that, I guess, because now we've got essentially the same game that came out in the 90s, just now with cute little toy people. Little plastic trees and plastic grass. What differentiates Link's Awakening's cutesy style from those of Kirby's Epic Yarn and Yoshi's Woolly/Crafted World is that those games' looks and mechanics work in tandem. Yoshi clings to Velcro, Kirby swings with yarn, etc. Conversely, Awakening looks the way it does to complement the game's story, tone, music, and so on. Even if everything in this world now looks like an approachable diorama, the tone is still intact. I've seen some claiming that the child-friendly aesthetic counteracts the original game's atmosphere, but I disagree. I think deep down, the original game is a cute game. Look at this guy. Can you seriously imagine him in any other style? Look at Marin, Link, Animal Village, and tell me you want eerie, realistic visuals. I mean, I think the way the game looks is supposed to like counteract or juxtapose between it and its darker tones. Or maybe it's just supposed to look cute. What's the problem with that?
Number 3, Luigi's Mansion 3.
I made a video review of this game a while back, so I'll keep this brisk. I love it.
Number 2, Ukulele and the Impossible Layer.
I've made my flopping erection for Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze no secret. I played it 3 full times this past year, which was 5 years after its original release. The literal second I heard someone even compare Impossible Layer to this game, I eagerly awaited the day that I could get my slimy little sausages all over it. After playing, I'd say they really do compare, which should tell you something about what's in my number 1 spot from last year. Let's compare them real fast. Impossible Layer doesn't do what Tropical Freeze does amazingly, but it notices Tropical Freeze's downsides and either betters them or does away with them completely. The repetitive bonus rooms of Donkey Kong aren't here. The overworld isn't just a means of moving from level to level, it's a level in and of itself with puzzles, enemies, and challenges. And probably most important to me, the collectibles actually matter. At this point, I'm a veritable god when it comes to playing Tropical Freeze. Because of that, I always have above 90 lives. 3 of the main collectibles in this game are balloons, which are lives, useless, banana coins, which can be used to buy optional items, including lives, useless, and bananas, getting 100 of which garner you a life, useless. I'm sure it's feasible for a new player to run out of lives, but after that initial playthrough, they're basically worthless. Impossible Layer doesn't even have lives. The only punishment for dying is being sent back to the last checkpoint and losing some quills. This game's banana replacement. Quills work as a sort of currency. With them, the player can purchase and use special tonics. Some of these can enhance the player's abilities, such as making them glide longer or giving them a little jingle when coins are nearby. Others actually hinder their ability, like doubling the amount of hits it takes to kill an enemy. With these tonics comes a system of risk-reward. The player can of course make the game easier for themselves by equipping helpful tonics, but their quill multiplier will take a hit as a result, meaning they'll lose net quills after completing a level. Conversely, using a hindering tonic will add to the multiplier, which could double or even triple the amount of quills earned. Or this mechanic could be completely fucking ignored, whatever. Maybe the game's not quite as good as Tropical Freeze, but it has so many creative new mechanics that I have no problem differentiating the two. I didn't even get into the ways that the overworld plays with the elements of the actual levels, essentially splitting each level into 2 different versions, or how the final world is available from the very beginning, and beating each regular level gets the player 1 extra hit for that challenge. Or how the golden god of gaming music, David Wise, composed a healthy chunk of the game's music. If you like Tropical Freeze, or just Donkey Kong, or just platformers in general, give it a dang old go. It's super cool to see Ukulele not fucking suck.
Number 1.
I've got kind of a love-hate relationship with the Soulsborne games. I've played, 3 of them now, none of which I've beaten. Sometimes I think they're incredibly designed experiences. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I think their worlds are impressively interconnected, making them immersive. Sometimes they're Blighttown. Sometimes the foes I face are so daunting and their attacks are so subtly telegraphed that I feel overwhelmed with adrenaline when I finally beat them. Sometimes I fight the Moonlight Butterfly. I flip between thinking they're great and thinking they're sometimes great on accident, especially the first game. Bloodborne is definitely the best of the ones I've played, but even it is hindered by some of From's worst habits. Shitty arena geography, shoddy or low frame rate, spastic camera. I want to fall head over heel in love with these games, but there's always been something, some little inconsistency that stopped me. Until now, whoa! Sekiro gives me every tool I need to deal with any circumstance. Rather than an unintuitive dodge roll or a flimsy parry, Wolf has the best offense in any of these games. A great defense. Any single bit of damage taken is the player's fault. Any attack can be blocked, countered, or leapt over. Unlike the Soulsborne dodge, this entire game is designed around Sekiro's parry. Rather than meandering or cheesing a boss to overcome it, Sekiro forces the player into harm's way. You have to parry, you have to memorize it, you have to get good. On my 4th playthrough, I'm shredding through bosses that took me hours to defeat on my first. I know their moves, I know what gadgets to use, I know how the game expects me to deal with them. Some may prefer the openness and customization of these Soulsborne games, but Sekiro's narrowness gives it the most focused combat of the entire series in my opinion. I do find it satisfying to progress in Souls, but sometimes it doesn't really feel like I've earned it. Sometimes it feels like the game pushed itself and me too far, and I found a convenient way of cheesing the boss rather than fighting it as the designers no doubt intended. There is very little cheesing in Sekiro, with some exceptions. The player is expected to play the way that From expected. They're given limited but powerful abilities and are now forced to use them under immense pressure. When I vanquish a skilled samurai or a big poopy ape, or when I manage to traverse a mist-ridden forest crawling with spirits, or a towering castle scouted by dangerous warriors in Sekiro, I'm excited, because I get to see what's next. because I've mastered that boss or that area, and it'll never give me trouble again. I'm excited to revisit these places because I know I'll be proficient at completing them. I just can't reach that same level of mastery in the Souls game. For me, Sekiro's extremely polished combat, level design, and bosses make it one of the most addicting games I've played in a long time, and definitely the best Souls game. I urge any Soulsborne fan out there to stick it out if you grew too frustrated when the game was released. It is well worth the struggle. If you're not a fan, I still think you should play it. Just be ready for the game to push you further than most others would dare. I've never felt so trapped playing a game, so forced into one way of playing against such an unforgiving level of difficulty. With Sekiro, you either get good or you just give up. There's rarely any compromise. Last year, I was very optimistic about how 2019 would pan out for gaming. Even if most of those games I was excited about either didn't come out or were kinda disappointing, I can still say I'm hopeful for 2020. Pretty much entirely because of Doom Eternal, but still. We're getting Last of Us 2, Cyberpunk 2077 will probably be pretty good, Animal Crossing will finally push me to drop out of college, and the 9th generation of consoles starting with the Xbox Series Xbox X or whatever. Plus, I mean, I'm not the only one saying I mean, Pikmin 4, anybody? Pikmin 4? Like, this year I think